Good evening, ladies and gents. Only the other day, I was sitting tight at home, and I received a call from my mom saying that I'm coming over. And I said, very good, I will send over my driver. And she tells me, no, don't bother. I will take Uber. And that's when I realized I have entered digital world. This mystery of digital world is quite crazy. When I speak to my children, they have their own perception of the situation. And when I'm in the industry talking to IT folks, they have their own perception. But eventually, my understanding is these thought processes are meeting somewhere. Today, in this session and the next session of Ninad, we will try and reach a point where the technologies are taking us, what Fujitsu is doing in this environment, and what next. I would like to start this session with a small video, which is just a snapshot of how industry is operating in this digital world and what Fujitsu is doing about it. That's Fujitsu for you. People, things, processes, networks are creating huge amount of noise in the system as such. This is an opportunity, of course, yes. But otherwise, you look at this as a huge noise, which can be probably not controlled. Most of the transactions in today's world are happening on the internet. And can you believe it? 15 years back, probably we would not be in this environment at all. Today, most of the clients are talking to you through your web or the channels that they are available to you. Mobile is something that you live with. Today, our kids are moving around with the mobile in hand 24/7. But our customers are also doing this. We have come to a stage where if we don't change and move towards digital, probably our customers would force us to move towards digital. Now let's go back a bit and let us see the evolution of the technology as such over the period of time. Look at this first picture, the computer. I remember 20 years back, 20 years back, when I got my first computer in my office. I thought it was a huge box, and it would not be placed rightfully on my table, so I shifted it to my secretary. It took me 3-4 months to realize that this box could give me some help, and I shifted it back on my table. Then came networks. We had servers. We had people talking to each other through their own systems. Over the years, things started changing dramatically. I was attending a seminar recently in Goa, which was a HR conference, and one of the key points which Mr. Mohandas Pai, ex-Infosys, mentioned was that in anybody's professional life, he can take one major change. But in my professional life, I think I have crossed two major changes. The first one, when I faced computer for the first time. It was a super change for me. Sorry. And the second time was internet. These two changes meant how we did business, how we spoke to customers, how we internally managed our own business changed dramatically. And this meant you needed right technology, right components, right processes to manage business in today's world. Let's talk about the last user-centric environment which exists today. We are talking to our clients most often through digital means. We are talking to them through mails. We are talking to them through media. We are talking to them through your mobile applications all the time. We miss this, we are going to miss a super chance to grow in this environment. This is also offering you a very, very big opportunity to encash on to ensure that you have reduced costs, you have better customer connect, you are ready for future. In terms of moving on, I would like to take you to the pain area as such. What this means in today's world is that all these devices, all these processes is creating huge amount of data. Now, do you remember earlier days, good old days, when everything was on paper? Any paper coming to me, I would take two copies, one in yellow file and the other one in blue file. At the end of the year, I would realize that there are too many papers in the cupboard. I would remove both the copies, put in the dustbin. It could be the same situation today as well. If you have so much of data and you don't know much about what to do with it, this data is as bad or as good as those papers that were available to you earlier. The problem with this is a lot of people are doing transactions only on net. We have people who are on Facebook all the time. WhatsApp, we will live with WhatsApp. Just before going off to sleep, during old days, I would say a prayer. Just before going off to sleep nowadays, I look at my WhatsApp, just to make sure that I don't miss any last-minute news. But all this also means that there is a huge amount of data being created all the time. You try attempting buying a shoe, and if you come out of that site, immediately you would get mails, messages from other sites telling you about the offers and what you could buy at a lesser price somewhere else. There is an agility component which is creeping in very, very sharply. But this agility is only possible because that huge amount of data which is being picked up by the system is potentially analyzed well. It is picked up right, it has been analyzed well, and it has been put to right use for business purpose. The data which is not been picked up, and if it cannot be put to use, then I'm not sure what's the use of generating so much of data. All these years, whether we were with computers, without computers, we were focusing on making sure the reports went to our bosses right. What he did with them was his business in any case. But today, the amount of data that you have to manage to create those reports is so massive that all the time you would struggle to get those things in place rightfully if you do not have the right tools and right systems. I want to now take you to the next slide of wherein I talk about the industries and the verticals as such. Every vertical, every industry segment will have its own key process, will have its own key challenges. And we as system integrators need to focus on this, and we have the portfolio to manage these kind of problem sets as such. But before we reach that portfolio segment, let us talk about this vertical snapshot as such. We have, say for instance, auto industry. Today, auto industry is completely focusing on driverless cars. I'm sure we have bought our last cars in any case now. Probably, I'm not going to buy a next car in any case. I have Uber, I have Ola, and tomorrow if they are driverless, in any case, that's better. So the situation is, every vertical, every industry segment will have a challenge, and we need to mitigate that challenge in any case. If we do not do it, in any case, our competition is going to latch onto that in any case. Let us talk about public sectors. We have a huge problem of traffic. Go to Bangalore, go to Delhi, this is the constant companion, the traffic. Let us talk about the pothole situation. It's so bad today in Mumbai that traveling on the roads is really, really painful. Let us talk about manufacturing segment. Let us talk about predictive maintenance. Let's talk about this particular topic, because this is one of my absolute favorite. We all have equipments, we manufacture equipments, or we manufacture goods from these equipments, and it's clear the utilization factor depends or the utilization factor gives me my profitability. How good it would be if I am told clearly and predictably about the problems in the equipment. I met my friend who make brilliant transformers recently, and I was in a discussion with him. He sells these equipments, okay? We can have in-house equipment, and we sell equipments. And I was having a discussion with them about these transformers, and if these transformers are being sold all over the country in remote places, and they have no idea what is the state of those transformers unless somebody visits them from his side. And the discussion was, if we could collect some precise data, sitting in our office, analyze the data, and shoot out messages to these clients saying that your so-and-so transformer located at so-and-so location will face a problem because of so-and-so. Let's get into this act, find out what's happening there, and repair it. I had a similar discussion in Pune. They make huge equipments, similar discussion, wherein they had absolutely no clue what happened to those equipments when they only went to see the equipments when the equipment had serious problem. But serious problem occurs only after equipment gives you clear indication that it's going to fail eventually. Some of the accidents happen because they are accidents, but most of the failures in the equipments are predictable. And in this regard, a lot of machine manufacturers now are trying to put in those IoT devices to ensure that they have information beforehand. And before client comes to know about a failure or impending failure, you send out a message to client saying that, hey, your so-and-so equipment is going to face problem very soon. So the whole theme is that if you don't change, the customers or the market would push you for a change. This is the world which is changing dramatically every day. And every place there is an opportunity. I never thought that there would be an opportunity in the space of taxis, Uber. I don't know from where Uber thought of this brilliant idea. I mean, you don't own a taxi, but you are a 60 billion company in any case. So the whole point is, every vertical will have an opportunity to work on. Now, when these industry verticals are facing clients, the expectations are absolutely clear. But when these challenges are being discussed internally, how does one single entity actually operate, and what is the thought process behind that? I want to show you this small web graph. There are, say, 6, 7, 8, 9 points to be considered while taking a decision. Those points could be, say, equipments to be procured, the applications to be used for these solutions, ease of use, the security aspect, the governance aspect, people aspect. Every department will have its own view towards these different points, which I'm talking about. So the role of an executive actually determines how he responds to these points when he is talking about something new coming into the environment. So let us talk about those 3 roles which I have listed down on the right side. There are IT managers, there are business managers, and there are knowledge workers. Typically, if you see the IT manager's outlook towards, or the response, the way it has been studied, is shown in the blue line. They are thinking very, very small sometimes, wherein the business is expecting a lot more in terms of IT revolution. And then you have knowledge workers like us. We call ourselves knowledge workers. Therein, we have a vision. because we have access to the latest technology. We spend a lot of money on R&D. So we are the ones who can come and pitch in and tell you that, hey, you can do a lot more with the technology than you are envisaging at this point in time. These contradictions in the environment actually leads to a bit of a confusion when it comes to any digitization or any project as such. This is the moment you cross this confusion point, then things become much more simpler, so much more clearer. Before I reach this important stage, I want to just talk about a small project concept. Any IT project is like any other engineering project you do. You still have your design phases, you still have your execution phases, you still have your maintenance phases and improvement phases. The critical aspect of any project is ownership by the leadership. If leaders own these projects, like any other projects, success is ensured. When these projects come to us, look at the way we respond to this. And our response typically is with the vision that Fujitsu has towards these technologies and services as such. Let us talk about a couple of points which are there. In this map that we are talking about, I'm talking about 3 critical points. I'm talking about people. The vision is very simple. It's people, it's business, and it's integration. We're talking about people-centric approach. We're talking about business and society-centric approach. And we're talking about optimizing the entire value chain as such. Why people? Because they are the ones who have to have the devices in their hand, and they are the ones who are going to trigger a process. They are the ones who are going to start working on their mobile phones, and they are the ones who are going to push out information or expectations clearly. So you have a mobility, which is our key offerings in any case. We talk about on-demand everything. Nobody wants to pay extra in any case, okay? So the vision is to provide those services when you use them, and we will charge you only when you use them. So the processes, the technology is available to you on demand when you need it. Coming to the transformation when it comes to businesses, we are talking about information valuation. I already talked about initially the data, because for me, that's the key. There's a huge amount of data that is coming in, and how do you manage this kind of information? You need to have right backbone in the industry, in your own company, which will be able to take huge amount of data, analyze it, and push it out. You need to have a backbone in place which integrates all your systems probably, which integrates all your departments as such, and the data that is being created in different departments, different segments, is collated in one place, and you have a solution or you have a report which is readily and easily accessible, which is definitely actionable. Coming to the next point, that is security and governance. That's today's world. This has become such an important aspect in any case. Only yesterday, my boy was telling me that some hackers got into NASA, which I thought was just crazy. And I mean, there was a challenge thrown, and they hacked into NASA websites or some servers. I can't believe this, but this is what they were telling me. So security in any case is everybody's concern. We focus a lot on security in any case. Coming to optimization, the key is modernization. The technology is changing many folds, and technology is changing very, very, very fast. It's not giving us time to breathe. Some of the projects I've seen, you start running the projects, in 3 years' time, by the time you end the project, the technology has completely changed, and you find yourself and your investment going out of the window. And in this IT environment of ours, this can happen overnight in any case. Integrated computing is something which we all are talking about in any case. We are talking about one system managing all functions, data coming centrally, being analyzed, looked at by all departments in any case. We are talking about super IT systems and SAPs and Oracles as such. So coming to the next slide, how does Fujitsu de-risk your journey of transformation. And why should you trust us? I need to just focus on a couple of points. We believe you should take one step at a time. I completely agree that technology changes super fast, but there is no choice. We have to take one step at a time. And as we move on, we can take bigger bites. But one step, steady step, but a very decisive step is something which is definitely important. Our solutions typically integrate very easily with backend systems. And thirdly, the most critical point, why I can stand so confidently in front of you and talk about this is because of my company's investment in R&D. My company has thousands of patents. How many? 90,000? Oh, it's more than that now. We are talking about thousands of patents, and that's only possible because the percentage of investment we make in R&D. So wherever we have delivery centers, we have R&D centers. So the huge workforce, which works in different aspects of business, supports our vision as such. You talk about human-centric innovations. You talk about your wristbands, which you gifted to your parents who are staying alone. And systems are created and developed by us, which can actually track how their health is. And if they are in distress, system can send an alarm to get the ambulance at home. Hospital is kept ready. People are taken there, treated well. The information is passed on to your relatives in time. All this happens absolutely automatically. And this is what we have already implemented. It's not something, all the examples which I have been talking about, in any case, are being used. So coming to my last slide, as such, oh, I'm so sorry. Does it work? Yep. So this is our portfolio alignment as such. We have vertical-centric portfolios, and we have horizontal portfolios which address common requirement across different verticals as such. So we have solutions specifically for retail, financials, transport, public sector, emerging markets, manufacturing. Say, in case of retail, we are talking about marketplaces. In case of public sector, of course, smart cities. I hope Mr. Modi gives us a lot of business. In terms of manufacturing, of course, the IoT solutions. And in the horizontal environment, we have application transformation. We take care of your applications. We also help you optimize those applications. Enterprise applications, we are connected with Microsoft, we are connected with Oracle, and most important partner of ours in today's world is SAP. We are SAP's biggest partner in this continent in any case. Talk about information management, we have solutions across industry segments. And for strategic growth, Globe Ranger-like solutions, these are the solutions which are giving immediate effect. Typically, IoT solutions are very easy to implement. These are, because when we come to you, typically a lot of work is already done, which is generic in nature. So the implementation time is super fast, say 2-3 months, or maybe shorter than that. So the ROI as such is absolutely fast. There is one example which I recently read about. This is about those life jackets which you see under our seats in aircraft. So just imagine that the airlines have to take inventory of all those life jackets, maybe once in a week, so the life jackets are there or not. Today, if it is not automated, can you imagine one person has to bend, remove the jacket, check the number, make sure that the number is validated, go to the next seat. He does it for 180 seats if it's a small aircraft. how much time is it going to take to do this? And can you imagine that all these are coded, there are tags, and a man with a small device in his hand moves across the aisle, and he has all the data in his hand, handheld device, in a flash. I think we have moved to that stage wherein we all have to make our first move. Thank you so much.